As Congress moves closer to a nationwide hemp ban, the debate is heating up. Jonathan Miller of the Hemp Roundtable raised concerns about the impact on farmers and the industry at an April oversight hearing. On the other side, Congressman Sessions argued the ban is necessary to protect kids and consumers. Today, those April warnings are coming to life as the ban looms. Watch it all right here.
Indeed, hemp's policy success has always been a bipartisan hallmark. And it's no wonder. Hemp products are made in the USA, harvested from crops grown by American farmers, manufactured by innovative U.S. entrepreneurs, and sold by small businesses dotting the nation. Unfortunately, the U.S. hemp industry continues to encounter avoidable bureaucratic headwinds in the marketplace. And this turmoil is due in large part to statements, actions, and indecisions of the FDA. When Congress passed the 2018 Farm Bill, it explicitly legalized the sale of hemp and its derivatives such as CBD. But just a few hours after the Farm Bill was signed into law, the FDA reasserted its opinion that it was illegal to market CBD as a dietary supplement. We've watched in bewilderment as FDA has jerked back and forth with contradictory opinions. First, the agency affirmed its ability to regulate CBD under current law. But then FDA stalled, even ignoring congressional appropriations report directives to take expedited action. Finally, in 2023, the agency stated that it cannot regulate CBD under existing regulatory pathways, essentially punting responsibility to Congress. This regulatory uncertainty resulted in a collapse of the CBD market, as demonstrated on this chart behind me, denying economic opportunity that was promised to farmers. The FDA's inaction doesn't just threaten CBD. A new industry focused on the adult market has emerged to meet consumer demand for hemp-derived cannabinoids like Delta-8 and Delta-9 THC. These products provide plant-based options for adults seeking functional health and wellness benefits. Furthermore, a promising new hemp beverage industry has soared into popularity, meeting adult consumer demand for non-alcoholic options through domestic inputs from our farmers. The only upward line on this chart represents the price of hemp flower, which recovered when it started being widely used for adult products, offering a lifeline to U.S. farmers. Unfortunately, lack of uniform quality control standards for hemp products at the federal level has forced responsible farmers and small business owners to compete against unscrupulous actors who generate headlines by distributing poorly manufactured products that are sometimes inappropriately marketed to children. A political backlash has ensued. Language was added into the 2024 House Farm Bill that purported to crack down on the bad actors. Unfortunately, the language went much farther. It would have federally banned 90 to 95% of the hemp product marketplace, including most non-intoxicating CBD products and animal feed, which offers great promise to farmers, while undermining a decade of progress for hemp fiber production. I want to be very clear. The hemp industry is united behind an appropriate response to these challenges. Robust regulation of hemp products, not misguided prohibition. We support an approach that includes the following four pillars: restrict youth access, increase quality control standards, standardized labeling, and standardized packaging. FDA could act today on applying this four-pillar approach to hemp products. We are hopeful that new leadership at the FDA will reverse the past course of inaction and take deliberate steps to robustly regulate hemp. This approach is precisely in line with the new administration's focus on providing adult consumers the freedom to make their own health care choices with holistic solutions that are grown on American farms. If laws must be changed, we urge Congress to act now. There are two viable pathways. First, we hope we'll consider Senator Ron Wyden's effort in the last Congress, S. 5243, that would ensure that the FDA regulates applying the four-pillar approach. A parallel effort could be to invest more authority in the states to properly regulate their own markets. In the absence of federal regulation, many states, like our Kentucky home, Mr. Chairman, have filled the policy void by developing new laws and regulations that balance market access with consumer safety. We urge you to implement a federal framework that authorizes the sale of hemp products and develops uniform standards for labeling, packaging, and testing, while allowing states flexibility on more complex issues. In the meantime, we've taken the additional step of establishing the U.S. Hemp Authority, the industry's self-regulating organization, which sets rigorous standards for safety, quality, and transparency across the supply chain. The hemp industry may be unique in that we are coming to Congress to ask, please regulate us. Thank you for your consideration.
The panel, I'd like to say to you, I had an opportunity this morning to look at WebMD, and you may have your own ideas about the effectiveness or how WebMD works, but the bottom line is that I'm looking at what might be Delta 8, which is this unregulated form of hemp THC. It's called Delta 8 THC. THC is an addictive product. WebMD says that marijuana, which is what THC is, use over several years causes brain effects like lower IQ, slower processing speed, memory, and attention issues. I would direct you to this slide here where Delta 8 is involved, and it's marketed in such a way that it appeals to not only adults but also to children. WebMD further says hemp's legality stems from the so-called federal Farm Bill, and I'm quoting this, the so-called Farm Bill, which removed hemp and its byproducts from the list of controlled substances. The reason hemp's low THC levels, less than 0.3, which was on the bill, but the bill doesn't mention Delta 8 anywhere. And what's happened is chemists have come in and changed that viewpoint, not only of the hemp, which I was, as the chairman of the Rules Committee, very open to when the gentleman, the young congressman, former chairman, former head of the Agriculture Committee in Kentucky, came and asked me if I would allow this to be put into law, into the Farm Bill. And I went through a detailed explanation with him about what hemp stood for and how it might be used. I was told it was this: ropes, things that are used by Americans every day, but to build the market. And he did not say anything that was wrong to me. He said what was right at the time. But now these so-called loopholes, chemistry, these are dangerous products that create in not only my congressional district, the sheriff in McLennan County came to me and said, Congressman Sessions, please go to our hospitals and look and see what is happening as a result of Delta 8. What's happening as a result of this hemp product that has become loaded with THC? I think what I would say to you is this: it is widely seen by many people as a dangerous product. It's dangerous not only to adults, it is very dangerous to children. Children who don't recognize the difference between what might be a small product, a gummy perhaps, or something else, and then turns into an emergency episode at an emergency room. I think one of the telling things comes from a guy whose name is Elton John, a well-known musician who has stated that of all the things that he's seen in his life, one of the worst things that he's seen is America and anybody else that legalizes marijuana. Marijuana is THC. And so, gentlemen, I will be watching you, and I am interested in the hemp industry. The same reason why, as chairman of the Rules Committee, I allowed it to be in the Farm Bill. But, gentlemen, we've got to understand it is a dangerous product that causes IQ problems. It causes problems with slowness of adults, and it causes problems that are harmful to children.
The Congress legalized the sale of hemp, like Mr. Sessions was talking about, and hemp derivatives are removing them from being Schedule I substances. To what extent has FDA regulated hemp-derived products like CBD?
They haven't, and we as an industry are begging for that regulation.
Why hasn't the FDA refused to regulate hemp and its derivatives despite having the authority to do so and despite the leading organization representing the credible manufacturers and producers of hemp begging them to do that?
They've gone back and forth. They initially said that they were going to regulate products, and then they have now claimed they need to have congressional authorization to allow them to regulate that. We dispute that. And I do want to mention, because Congressman Sessions raised that issue about youth use of these products, we as an industry strongly oppose the sale of these products or the marketing of these products to children, and really are looking for the FDA's help to make sure that that doesn't happen.
How long would it take the FDA to do something like this? I mean, what are we talking here?
Well,
do we need a gazillion bureaucrats that work from home, or I mean, can what's involved in FDA regulate this, especially when you have the industry wanting to be regulated?
So there currently are a number of safeguards under current law that the FDA could use and has chosen not to use. Within the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. For example, the law precludes manufacturers and distributors from selling mislabeled or adulterated products, and it requires the manufacture and sale of products consistent with good manufacturing practices. The law also requires reporting of serious adverse events, and it mandates strict labeling, including, if FDA desires, warning against the use of products by children. Finally, the FDA, with the Consumer Product Safety Commission, could require child-proof packaging. So there's existing laws out there that they can take advantage of.
For more congressional news, stay tuned to Congress Clips, and thanks for watching.